Well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya?
Hey, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today we're going to show you how to play Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. First, we'll show you a really easy, basic way to play it, and then we'll show you something that you can do called arpeggiating that'll help you pick out the notes and it'll sound a bit more like the Jeff Buckley version. Before we get started, we have to put our capo on the 5th fret. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get your capo on the 5th fret. All the chords that we're going to go over in this song can be found in our ebook, and that's available for free on our website. It's free to all of our subscribers, and that'll show you all the chord shapes from a bunch of different angles, give you some ways to practice chord switching, building chord progressions, work on your strumming, and there's a whole set of videos that goes with it. So it's like a complete video training program, and that's available for free on our website. There's a link down below. And if you find that this lesson, or if you've watched some of our other lessons, if you found that they've helped you, I would really appreciate it if you helped us by taking the time to look down below and either press the thumbs up button or hit subscribe. Subscribe to our channel, it would mean so much to us. Anyways, we're going to start out with the chords. So the chords that we're going to need to play this song are G, E minor, C, D, and B7. So as you can see, there's no surprises here with the chords. It's just the standard open chords. So let's just jump right in and figure out the order that we're going to play it in. And I'll remind you that this song is not in 4/4 time. So we can't count 1, 2, 3, 4 like we normally do. In this song, it's in 6/8 time. So that means we would count it 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a, like that. So we start off on a G chord and we would count 1 and a 2 and a, and then we would switch to E minor, 1 and a 2 and a, back to G, 2 and a, E minor, 2 and a, C, 2 and a, D, 2 and a, G, 2 and a, D. And we go back to G, and here we're going to split the bar, the next one, between C and D. So it's like 1 and a 2 and a. So let's just back up, back to that G just before it. 1 and a 2 and a, 1 and a 2 and a, E minor, 2 and a, C and a 2 and a, D and a 2 and a, B7, 2 and a, E minor, 2 and a, and then we would go to the chorus from there. If you listen to the original recording for this song, there isn't necessarily a guitar on it. It's mostly just bass. There's a lot of space, you know, there's the voice, there's bass, there's a bit of keyboard in the background doing some arpeggiating, which we'll go over later. And as far as a strumming pattern goes, we kind of have to get a bit creative here when coming up with one. So I've taken all the rhythms of all the different instruments and kind of extracted the groove from the song. And I think that this feels pretty good. So you may have noticed that the strumming pattern is all downstrokes. And to make it kind of groove, I have to do 2 different kinds of downstrokes. A little downstroke, which we'll call a root strum because we're focusing on the root of the chord. And then just a normal downstroke where we hit all the strings of the chord. And if we combine those, we can get a pretty groovy strumming pattern. I would start out in the first half going root, root. And the timing for that would be 1 and ah, 1 and ah. And then the next part would be down, root, down. So a big strum, a little strum, and then a big strum. And the timing for that's really straightforward. It's just 2 and ah. And when you combine it, 1 and ah, 2 and ah, you get the strumming pattern. Also, remember that one measure where we had to split it between C and D? We went 1 and 2 and well, we'll have to split our pattern over those two chords as well. So we would go root, root, down. So on the C, root, root, then we would switch to D really quick. This is probably the toughest part of the song. We switch to that D, and then we go down, root, down. So pause the video right now and just work on that a whole bunch. Just going root, root, down, root, down. You might have to slow it down a lot. Remember to count 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and and just do it on each chord a few times to get used to strumming each chord. And when you're good with that, we can work it into the chord progression and we can play it together. So let's try that right now. 1 and 2 and The chorus to this song actually has less chords than the verse, so it's actually a bit easier. We're not going to be playing the B7 chord, and we get to hang out on each chord for a bit longer. So let's just take a quick look at the order that we're going to play them in. We start off with a C chord, and we're just going to play 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and E minor, 2 and 1 and back to C, and 2 and 1 and 2 and G to D. So take a moment, rewind the tape if you have to, and just play along with that part, getting just the downstrokes so you can work out the chord order. And once you're ready, we can add the strumming pattern and play it together. 1 and 2 and If you're familiar with this song, odds are you're also familiar with Jeff Buckley's version of this tune. And I think one of the coolest things about it is the way he's playing guitar on it. Now, I'm pretty sure it's just solo guitar for his version of it, whereas the Leonard Cohen one doesn't even have a guitar in it. So obviously, there's going to be some talk about guitar techniques if we're going to be talking about the Jeff Buckley version. And the biggest one that he's using, and the main thing that I think kind of captures the essence of it, is arpeggiation. And that's just a fancy word for picking out individual notes in a chord. Now, we're going to be arpeggiating each chord in a really simple way, just kind of going up and down like this. And we're going to be picking different strings for different chords. So on the G chord, like I just played, we would be hitting the lowest string, then we would skip the next string, go to here, so we're just kind of picking them in order. We just skipped the 5th string, and we would just go 1 and 2 and So if you practiced counting along with the strumming pattern in the previous parts of this video, you should have no problem figuring out how much to do this on each chord because you're already good at counting them. Now I'm going to show you how to arpeggiate over each of the chords. And we would do it the same for the E minor chord. So that was just the lowest string, we skipped a string, back down. If you're interested, the numbers of the strings, that would be 6, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Sounds kind of boring, doesn't it? That's why I didn't say it before. Anyways, on the C chord, we would arpeggiate the middle 4 strings. So we don't have to skip anything. We just start on the 5th string. Once again. And it's the same for B7. Just the middle 4 strings. And finally, for the D chord, it's the top 4 strings. So I'll just play through one round of the song just so you can see this. I'll do it nice and slow, starting off on our G chord. C. So if you want to figure it out that way, I recommend going through the rest of the song just like that, remembering that all you really need to know is which strings you pick for each chord. G and E minor have the same ones, C and B7 have the same ones, and then D is different, it's just the top 4. So if you know that, you'll be able to pick through the whole song, and that'll help you kind of start sounding like the Jeff Buckley version. Of course, he takes it a lot further, but I think this will do for now. So that's how you play Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. And if you found any of this video was a bit too fast for you, please check out our ebook. We really go in huge detail on every single chord, a bunch of chord switches. We have 17 different videos where we just switch between 2 chords and show you all these tricks that'll just make it so much easier and simpler to switch between chords, building chord progressions, working on your strumming. We just have a whole bunch of stuff. So please check out the link down below and grab our ebook if you haven't already, and if you're interested in kind of getting a really good foundation. Aside from that, I'd be super grateful if you took a time to subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.